The 15th season of Storytelling Live is in full swing. Each week through October, the International Storytelling Center brings us a different teller in residence. This week, we get to meet Adam Booth, a storyteller from West Virginia. And Adam, it is great to have you on the show.
Thanks, it's great to be here.
Well, no stranger to Jonesboro. You said you've actually been attending the big storytelling festival for many years.
That's right, 10 years.
And then just last year, you were telling stories.
That's right, I was up on the big stages last year.
How did it feel?
Oh, it was a thrill, but also it was an experience where I got to hear my stories for the first time, even though I knew them so well.
Very cool. Well, you were telling me earlier that you do a lot of familiar tales, but disguised in Appalachian clothing. What do you mean by that?
I take a lot of traditional Appalachian stories and take the skeletons of them, but put different textures and characters on top of them so that they seem like personal stories or stories that relate to people that you and I might know.
Very cool. And you grew up in West Virginia.
That's right, I grew up in Huntington.
Okay, and where do you draw your inspiration then when you're looking for these stories that you're sharing? You said a lot of like folklore and
a lot of
mountain
folklore.
stories.
I listen to a lot of old people tell stories and collect stories from them. And I also research in a lot of sound archives.
And you use humor as well as some emotion in these different stories.
I think they're both necessary to get a full spectrum of the human experience in your storytelling.
And you're doing these matinees all through the week. You started yesterday.
That's right.
How did it go yesterday?
Oh, it was great. We had a good crowd. There were lots of kids in the audience and lots of older people, so I got to tell stories that related to childhood characters, but also your relationship with older people in your life. It was great.
Very cool. And you're going to be there the rest of the week, and you're going to tell us just a brief little story so we can kind of get an idea of your type of storytelling.
Yeah, an excerpt from a story I'll tell later today.
Very cool. I'll let you go ahead.
Well, my brother had driven us out to the country, to a holler way out in the country, far from where we had grown up. We're 10 years apart, and I was 7 years old, and we were in his fake hot rod car. He had parked it out in this holler in a place where there was a grassy area, and we had the doors open because we were launching off model rockets, a set that he had bought for me. The doors were also open because it allowed us not just to have protection from the rockets, but also to hear the mixtape that he had just popped into the cassette deck. I'd already set up the first rocket that I had painted with my name. It was 20 feet ahead of us. I had a box at the end of a wire that I could press to detonate it. And as Axl Rose was screaming about Paradise City, I pressed that button and we watched the spark travel through that clear wire. 10 feet, 15, 18, 19, 20 feet. It lit the spark, the end of that wick that just danced and disappeared into that first rocket. It took off shooting into the sky. We jumped back from the car. We cheered aloud and watched as it got smaller and the fire got bigger and the bottom part fell off and then the middle part with my name on it. I had packed the nose cone parachute in such a way that when it opened, my brother could see the picture I'd painted on there for him, but I'd packed it wrong. So it just dive bombed straight down. He said, "Go get it, we'll launch the other one off." I ran and got it, put the other rocket together that I had painted his name on, and when I got back to the car, he was coming out of the trunk with a box, cardboard box that had a Black Panther's face painted on it with bared teeth. He brought it around and set it into the passenger seat. As he opened it up, he pulled out a thin rectangular packet wrapped in red waxed paper, and when he unwrapped it, firecrackers. "Give me that other rocket," he said. "We're going to have a lot of fun this time."
Oh, I'm excited to see what happens next time. Well, Adam, we thank you so much for joining us. And of course, welcome back to the area.
Thank you. It's
Good
great to be
have
back.
You. Here is the information if you would like to see him. He will be performing now through Saturday in the afternoons. For more information, you can check out that website or give him a call. We're going to take a break. We're back with more of Daytime right after this.